it's important for parents to have a basic understanding of neuroscience. If we can understand how neurons connect together, then we can understand better how our children's brains are forming, especially in the short term, because this provides the basis for what happens long term with our kids. Parents are perfectly placed to foster connections in our kids' brains, and this completely depends on which connections they use the most. We are able to foster these connections and to help refine them over time in ways that no one will ever be placed again in our kids' lives. And most importantly, this refinement is available and works both on a circuit level, but also on a cellular level. So you can actually change the neuroarchitecture of the neurons themselves. And we'll talk more about this as we get into ideas about how the neurons work and connect together in ways that parents can actually use and as an accessible tool to put in your parenting arsenal. So today I tried to lay out for my class proof that the brain controls behavior. And the way I chose to do that was through like a historical perspective of people who have done great things, basically stimulating the brain with electricity in sometimes super unethical ways in animals or in humans, and what we found from that. Take homes for today: brain controls all behavior. The brain is electrical and is controlled by electrical impulses, which we control. And third, it's completely applicable to parenting to understand how the neurons connect together and how they work. When you have electricity and you deliver some kind of a mild stimulation to the brain, you can control behavior. And it always happens on the opposite side of the brain. So if you deliver some kind of a electrical stimulation to a place in the brain on the right side of the brain, that the left side of the body is going to move, or you will elicit some sort of behavior. But that's in certain places. In other places, you can elicit sensation, like you can see colors or you can hear things. But even cooler than that, you can actually have an experience of a memory or an emotional state from before. So these things are actually like stored in our brains, and with proper activation, they can be accessed. So this cool idea that the brain is this electrical organ and that we can control it with electricity, and that this actually is beyond our control. So if someone gives an electrical stimulation to your brain, it will make your hand or whatever move on the other side of you, and you will not be able to override the urge to lift your hand or raise your finger. There's super cool applicability to parenting, and how that there are these pathways that are strong and they're electrically guided, and that if we can figure out how to tap into certain pathways and networks, then we can actually activate these areas that are overall going to give us connectivity in ways that can really inform our behavior. And that the other thing that's really neat about it is we know from neuroscience that the areas that are more used or more frequently activated are the areas or the networks that are going to be activated preferentially the next time. So if you have a kid where you've been doing a lot of creative thinking and approaching problems creatively, then that is how they are going to actually approach the next problem, because they're used to doing it that way. Those are the neural networks that are activated in them more frequently. So super cool, and glad I'm done lecturing for today. So now I can think about the fact that I definitely called an Uber for my almost 16-year-old this morning to take him to school because he missed the bus, and reflect on how that impacts me as a parent, my parenting ideas, and him, because he definitely needs to pay me back for that Uber, and how I feel about being a parent that Ubered their kid to school. All right, until next time. Join us every day in May for a new video.